Welcome back to another episode of What We Talking About on Wednesday. Let me just take a second because I have had a day. Let me just say that technology runs the world and runs how we're evolving as people, as how we function day to day. You know, with things like being influencers as a job or working from home or whatever the case may be is. When that internet goes out, boy, it's like life stops because we rely so much on the internet and to be logged on in some form. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm glad that my internet is working again. And yeah. Anyway, we're going to get right into the mess this week. We've got some things to talk about. But before we get into that, I just wanted to remind everybody, if you didn't already know, that this month is February. And while everybody thinks of February as Valentine's Day and Super Bowl, but you know, right before the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl weekend is in February. For people with this skin color, it also means Black History Month. Now, I am Canadian, Jamaican descent, and I am considered a woman of color, a Black woman. So what I wanted to do is each week I do a video, my normal video. I wanted to add a little nugget of Canadian Black history knowledge for you. So this is the first week's little tidbit of information. I'm going to be reading this off of my computer, so that's why I'm looking away. It says 1969, the first Black History Week was celebrated. Maurice Alexander Charles became the first Black provincial judge of Ontario. Congratulations to, well, obviously long overdue congratulations to Mr. Maurice Alexander Charles. That's a big deal, being a provincial judge of Ontario. That's amazing. And we are proud to be Jamaican. We are proud to be Canadian. We are proud to be Black. And we are proud to be right here. Okay, now that we've shared that special moment, we're going to roll right into what happened this past weekend. Now, what should have happened was Power's finale. But because of the Super Bowl, that did not happen. So I decided to tune in and watch the halftime show because I don't watch football otherwise. My man don't watch football. So I decided to tune in to watch the halftime show because this year was going to be done by Shakira and J-Lo. There was supposed to be some sort of Kobe tribute. We'll talk about that momentarily. But I wanted to talk about the halftime show overall. Now, people were comparing J-Lo and Shakira, and I don't think there was supposed to be this comparison going on. When it comes to overall performance and abilities, because J-Lo's at a higher caliber now, I think J-Lo did slightly better than Shakira. J-Lo's had a residency in Vegas. J-Lo's been, performing consistently for quite a few years. Even her level of singing has come up. So, in comparison to Shakira, there was a little level of professionalism that was a little bit different. However, Shakira is Shakira, and we know what Shakira is coming with and what she's bringing. She's a powerhouse. She's full of energy, and I think she still rocked the show. But if I was going to compare, J-Lo would get like 11 out of 10, and Shakira would get like 9 out of 10, because that's really all that needs to be said. For the uproar of people talking about the halftime show is too sexualized and these women look like sluts, and people using like these actual words to talk about J-Lo and to talk about Shakira because of the outfits they wore. It's like when you watch football and you have the halftime show, or you have intermission between quarters. I don't know nothing about football, so excuse me if I'm getting these terms wrong. But when you have those cheerleaders jump on the dance floor and they're wearing their little itty bitty crop tops and little itty bitty short skirts, you're still watching though, right? Is it because of the amount of women who are watching the Super Bowl that felt like they needed to judge the show, or was it just because I'm hearing men and women talk so badly about Shakira and J-Lo, and it's like, they're performers. This is what they do. This is how they are normally dressed. Do you see the outfits that J-Lo wore in Vegas? Did you ever get a snippet of what those outfits look like? She's a performer. She does it with it's both sexy, sassy, and classy. But for some reason, I kept seeing these trigger words all over Instagram and all over Facebook in the past few days talking about how they're sluts and that football needs to go back to being football. Football has had cheerleaders for eons. So why is it now all of a sudden this year in 2020 y'all have a problem with seeing a little bit of flesh here and there, a little bit of see-through material? Wow. Here we are in 2020 where people are still talking about women and how they choose to represent their bodies and sexualities in such a way that is so 1990. Like, let's remember that as individuals, we are allowed to represent ourselves how we so choose in a way that is comfortable for us. If it is not offending somebody, if it's not offending them, you know, in any way that's hurtful, it shouldn't be none of your business. If you didn't like how they looked, you got that remote control. You could change that channel. If you didn't like how they looked and your man wanted to watch, you could turned away. But instead, you decided to watch and then go on Facebook or online and make these disgusting comments about these grown-ass women, mothers, wives, but performers. Let's remember that they're performers. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. I'm not going to engage in conversation with anybody about their thoughts on it, because I don't agree with the, oh, they're women and this takes us steps back. No, they're women, they're performers, they're making their cheddar, and they're using their bodies in ways that make them feel comfortable. Do you think if J-Lo and Shakira didn't feel comfortable in shaking their booties or shaking their bodies that they wouldn't do it? This is 2020, people. Let's remember that autonomy is important. We are allowed to make decisions that make us feel most comfortable, okay? If it's not hurting you, you really shouldn't be talking about people's bodies and how they choose to use them. And that's all I'm saying on that. Otherwise, I thought the half show was fantastic. Now, rolling off from the half show, we're going to talk about another topic. If you had seen, you know, it's award season, right? So awards always kind of happen in the beginning of the year. I do not remember the name of this award show because I just saw a little snippet on the Shade Room, but it was a video of Joaquin Phoenix, the actor who starred in the new version of Joker, speaking on racism and systemic racism and discrimination in Hollywood. And if you have a second to watch that, I would suggest you watch that. I feel like Joaquin Phoenix is always doing his best to try to be very aware and, cognizant of how everybody's being treated and all of the issues that need to be addressed when he's speaking on a topic. I feel like he doesn't like to talk too much about himself, or sometimes even, the labor of his journey in the movie, but there's bigger overarching issues that he'd much rather discuss. And to see a Caucasian man in his position and stature in Hollywood to stop and, be appreciative of his award, but say, here's why we should remember and start to consider people of color in Hollywood and the inequalities that they're facing, and how we, as the people who are creating these inequalities, can do better. I think it's a treasure, something you don't see often, something that someone in his position would probably feel very comfortable doing. So hats off and applause to Joaquin Phoenix for that speech. It's about 2 to 3 minutes, and it speaks volumes. You can see that he's very thoughtful in how he speaks. He's very slow in how he speaks and methodical. And I think his message is, in this small amount of time that he speaks volumes about what he's trying to say. So, light is bugging me. So I really hope if you have an opportunity to watch that speech, you will watch it. Joaquin Phoenix accepting an award in the most recent awards show that happened. It's 2020, people. Like, when are we going to fix this? When are we going to fix, gender inequality, race inequality, and just let people love each other and us love each other for who we are and what we represent? It's tough. And speaking on that, the final thing I want to talk about is, let me just precursor this with, I love Tom Hanks and I love Colin Hanks. Now, I didn't know nothing about Chet Hanks until very recently, when he went to I think it was the Oscars, and decided on the red carpet that he was going to show his love for the Jamaican culture and speak his version of patois. Now, this video very quickly went viral, and he was getting all sorts of attention about his way of speaking. Now, I didn't have a problem with it at first, and I still don't really have a problem with it. Being a woman being a Jamaican woman, I'm just like, oh, he loves patois. People do this shit all the time. Haha, it's funny. However, I decided to follow him and watch kind of how he posted, going from that viral celebrity moment he had. And what I felt was like, as much as he said he was showing love for the Jamaican culture, it felt very much like he was mocking the Jamaican culture and the Jamaican people, and doing it simply for his likes and for his, he released a song shortly after so he can get that song pumping on the charts. And all in the name of loving the Caribbean culture. All I'm going to say is if you love a culture, you don't stand in that love for that culture and make a mockery of it. What it felt like is that you were making a mockery of it for the sake of your celebritism. And I don't think that's how you should properly show love for a culture. If you really showed love for a culture, you wouldn't be so keen on posting the stupid videos you've been posting recently and making sure that people are recording so you can speak in patois, because you know it's going to rile people up, whether people are for it or against it. People are talking about it, myself included. I personally, as a Jamaican, don't think you're doing it for the love. I think you should stop. And if you really love a culture, take that love and be real about it. Love with respect. Go to the country and show love to the people with respect. But your little videos that you're posting and talking about, oh, appropriation and I'm not appropriating. And what if you went to Colorado and decided to snowboard or golf? That would be appropriating the white culture. And comparing that to Rastafarianism, I can't even, that's a whole other video. I'm not even going to get on top of that. All I'm saying is that if you love a culture, you don't step in that love and then make a mockery of it for likes and comments. I mean, I know this is 2020 and people are all trying to go viral, but bro, don't do that. It's scurvy. You're a rich white boy who lives in California, who's been rich probably his whole life, and you're talking about cultural appropriation like you have any friggin' clue what it's really about. And then you use the idea of reverse appropriation. Whatever. Just remember that showing love also means showing respect. You need to learn that. You need to practice that. And you need to take your behind off of Instagram when it comes to the love for the culture that you so feel you need to talk about. Take it off of Instagram. Stop making these videos for likes and comments and for hee-hee-ha-has if you really love the culture. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of what we're talking about on Wednesday. Fingers crossed that this stupid video uploads because the internet has been insane today. And I'll see you next time. Happy Black History Month.